A lot has transpired since the last time I was in these YouTube streets. Welcome to another edition of Coffee Break Sports. I am your sports barista, Rod the Magnificent, back with another episode. And as you can see in the thumbnail, I got a lot to talk about. I missed a lot of action last week because I was on vacation. I didn't have time to really record any episodes last week, even for Coffee and Beats. Just a couple of reminders. Hit the subscribe button. Before I get into that, hit the follow, all that good stuff, so you will never miss an episode of Coffee Break Sports and also Coffee and Beats. And coming up on Coffee and Beats, I do have a top 25 best albums of the year list that I'm going to be working on. So be on the lookout for my annual top 25 list as far as dope albums that have came out this music season. But back to these Bears. This is what you're here for, all my Bears fans out there. This is what you're here for. You're here to talk about what happened with this whole coaching situation in Chicago. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, Matt Eburflus was relieved of his coaching duties with the Chicago Bears last week, I think Friday. And I think this was after he spoke to the press the following day after that disastrous coaching malfunction of a job he did in that game against the Lions, on that Thanksgiving game against the Lions, where he did not use that last time out when Caleb was looking basically discombobulated during that final drive, and they really needed to set something up so they can get a field goal to at least tie the game and send it to overtime after a furious comeback. But yet he didn't. He kept the timeout in his pocket for the entire United States to see because it was a nationally televised game. There were people that don't know a thing about football that were complaining why he did not call a timeout. It did not look good. It did not look good. And at that point, I think that was the final straw for Matt Eburflus in Chicago. And my stance on it as a Bears fan, I've said this in previous episodes. I thought Ryan Poles made a huge mistake last year by not firing Matt Eburflus along with sending Fields to the Steelers. If you knew from Jump Street that you were going a different direction at quarterback with Caleb Williams, you should have hired a coach for them to both grow together. And you're going to keep a coach that you're eventually going to fire because, listen, Matt Eburflus has never shown to me. The first year, that was a disaster year for him as far as not having the talent because Ryan Poles was cleaning house. He was trying to get rid of everything Matt Nagy's name. Roquan Smith was the first victim in all of that. He kind of left loose with a team to tank for the number one pick. And a lot of people saying they're not going to penalize Eburflus for that season. I will. I think that this Bears team, again, wasn't built to win right away when Ryan Poles took over. But there were some things that Matt Eburflus did in that first season with the Bears that had me scratching my head in some of those games, some of those last minute coaching decisions. But then the second year, there were a lot of things that I just did not like. But again, that was the year Justin Fields turned into a best rushing quarterback in NFL history, one of the best in NFL history. And he was able to do what he needed to do to, sweep Chicago fans off their feet with all of his dynamic running. But again, it didn't equal to any wins. And then here he hires Lou Gessie as the offensive coordinator and to kind of fix Justin Fields, make him an Aaron Rodgers. That didn't work. Justin Fields complained to the media about feeling robotic, and we all know what happened with that season. It just all plummeted, and here we are sitting here with a vacant coaching job available. Now, Thomas Brown is going to take over for the last 5 games of the season. And I like Thomas Brown. A lot of people say that he reminds you of a Mike Tomlin. I'm not going to go that far. I will determine that when he coaches his very first game at the helm. I'm not ready to tag him with the Mike Tomlin role just yet. And don't be fooled, Bears fans. Just because he, called better games offensively, right, for the Bears when he took over for Shane Waldron, doesn't mean that he is a generational offensive play caller like you have with Ben Johnson over in Detroit. So let's pump the brakes on this. Let's see what Thomas Brown can do with these last 5 games. And if they look impressive, I'm not really seeing any hope with these last 5 games. Take it. You got San Francisco, it is going to be the next game. San Francisco is going to be very upset. They're going to be ready to take all their anger and frustration out on the Bears after getting blown out in the snow to the Bills. And then after that, you got Detroit again. You got Seattle, who's been catching fire. And then you got the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings again. So I don't see any of those games as winnable at this point. And so if he goes 0-5, of course, you're going to have to really look for another coach. But he's up for the job. This is his interview pretty much, these 5 games. And depending on how well the team plays during these 5 games, we'll see what happens. But the thing I want to get to, and that's what my thumbnail is centered upon. I know you see it. I'm confused right now because if you watch the press conference between Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren, it doesn't look appealing. It doesn't look promising. It still looks confusing. It still looks like the Bears are going to make a bad decision appointing their next head coach. And I'm going to tell you why. Look at this picture right here. Check out Ryan Poles' position. He looks very uncomfortable. He looks very small in the picture. And Ryan Poles is a big guy. He came across when he first came here. He said, we're going to take the North and never give it back. Well, that hasn't happened yet. But he said it with so much confidence. And he was beating his chest about all the moves that he was making and how he was able to sabotage the Carolina Panthers in the process of getting DJ Moore and drafting Caleb Williams. He did some fine things as a general manager for the Chicago Bears, but he messed up with a couple of things in regards to Chase Claypool, Velus Jones, not addressing the offensive line issues. I mean, he has some red flags too. But I've never seen Ryan Poles this uncomfortable, this defeated since he's been our general manager. And that scares me, ladies and gentlemen. That scares me. That has me worried. And I'm going to read comments here from Kevin Warren as we talk further about this. I'll give you my analysis after I read this. But Kevin Warren opens up his press conference by saying, when you look at all these elements as we sit here today, we are in a unique position. This will be the most coveted job in the National Football League this year. Ryan Poles and I need to work hand in hand together to make sure we bring that to life, not only from a head coach standpoint, but from an entire staff standpoint. I have a problem with this comment, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Kevin Warren is not a football guy. Kevin Warren came in here to get us a new stadium in Chicago. Kevin Warren got this job 2 years ago. Here we are in year 3. Have we gotten a new stadium in Chicago or even started a project or even gotten any property in Chicago to start this looking stadium that they keep teasing us with? No. So what makes you think I'm confident in Kevin Warren having say so in our next head coach? Ryan Poles already swung and missed on the first at bat with Matt Eburflus, okay? And you're not gonna give Ryan Poles a chance to make the decision again when he's only swung and missed one time. This was his first coach. Usually the first coach is the developmental coach, the guy that gets the team off their feet and this, that, and the other. Now, that's not the case with Matt Eburflus. And I think it wasn't until after the Patriots game, when they got blown out by the Patriots, is when Matt Eburflus officially lost that locker room completely. And now you have a situation here where Ryan Poles, who's a football guy, he comes from Kansas City. He helped Kansas City build the team that they have today and the dominance that Kansas City has today. And I know a lot of people are calling cap on that and saying that the league is rigged for Kansas City, but that's another podcast. I'm just sitting here saying this. Ryan Poles should have more leverage in picking the next head coach for the Chicago Bears. I get where Kevin Warren is coming from, but Kevin Warren needs to focus on making the Bears more palatable for Bears fans, more attractive for outsiders to come here and have the Olympics here, or have the NCAA tournament here, or NBA All-Star game here, whatever the case may be. Like, you need to be focusing on that, not trying to find a new head coach for us. We would love for you to say, hey, Ryan, who you hiring? Oh, you hiring this guy? All right, cool, whatever. I trust you. I would more be supportive. I wouldn't be as worried. But here you have a guy that's saying, no, I'm gonna step in, and he said Ryan Poles has the final decision, but we're gonna work hand in hand with who we're gonna select as head coach. Where has Kevin Warren hired a head coach? When has he ever hired a successful head coach? I'll wait in the comment section, and I'll come back in the comment section, and I will chat with you guys and let you know how I feel. But Kevin Warren, I don't have confidence in this. I don't have confidence in this. And I'm going to put out a video probably later on in the week about who I feel should be the Bears' next head coach. But I just wanted to talk about that press conference. Ryan Poles looked defeated. He looked like he lost all confidence in the world. And he looked like he no longer has the power to control the Bears' destiny. It all falls with Kevin Warren, and he looks worried. He looks worried, and I don't like to see that as a Bears fan. If you're a Bears fan, you should not have walked away from that press conference feeling confident that the Bears organization is going to make the right decision, because you know why? Guess who's over Kevin Warren? Take a wild guess. Oh, yes, you're right. The McCaskies. And as long as the McCaskies are owners of this organization, I don't trust a thing they're about to do in the upcoming coaching decision by the Chicago Bears. That's all I have for this particular episode of Coffee Break Sports. I am your sports barista, Rod the Magnificent. When it comes to sports, when it comes to coffee, stay grounded for life. Bears fans, I hope there's light at the end of the tunnel, because, man, I'm a little bit nervous. Not just a little bit. I'm extremely nervous about who's going to be our next head coach. But with that being said, I am out. I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.